This is Ifan from the Strategic Day Trader, and this is the market wrap for March 27th, 2019. Got 4 minutes to go here. Qs are down 0.64 and the SPY 0.55. So both down around 0.5%. Very similar Qs and SPY. Pattern today, a little bit more strength in the SPY, but really not that different. If we recap what we talked about coming into today, we said that as long as we don't get over yesterday's high, if we don't do that today, then you can fade the rallies, continue to look for sell setups to get sold. So in the morning, market tried to move up, and then you can see got sold, continuation, expecting to see some support based on Monday's lows, okay? And that support ended up coming into play here. And now we have another sell setup. So the question is, can we expect this sell setup to get back to the lows? And so going into tomorrow, yeah, that's what I'm going to look for. If we say in the morning, we trigger or we break and we don't necessarily get back to lows, but then we get bought and we get back over 280.35 on the SPY, and this would be 178.37 on the Qs. Then we'll be less aggressive with the shorts, looking more like a neutral bias. Okay, so that's going to be my line in the sand to say we will no longer be expecting every rally to fade, and we will expect sideways, okay? Because what will happen there, let's say, right, maybe, well, there's only a couple minutes left. Let's say in the morning, we like gap down a little bit or we move lower a little bit, and then we get bought. What's going to happen? This 20 MA will be about as flat as it can be, okay? Because we'll have gone from one side to the other side, and then we'll have failed on an hourly sell setup. So the failure of a bearish pattern suggests bullishness, but we're still going to be into other areas of resistance. As we've seen, we are making out over the last few days lower lows and lower highs. So I'm going to go with this hourly sell setup for now. If we fail in the hourly sell setup right over this hourly topping tail, then we will be neutral on the short term and neutral on the long term. We've been neutral on the long term for the last week now because of the breakout failure here on the Qs and SPY, right? And so now you can see 20 MA on the SPY is also going flat, okay? Whereas early in the year, we had a nice rising 20 MA to follow throughout that rally. You can see it's starting to flatten out now, okay? And then also the hourly showing some potential that it may flatten out for now. Hourly still looks lower, okay? So we'll go with that. Kind of the next area where you can be a little bit more aggressive with the bearish bias is underneath today's low. That will really put the hourly downtrend nice and confirmed. So then we'll just wait for the next sell setup to play short. So if this sell setup gets follow through, breaks through the lows, not necessarily the best time to initiate new shorts. That's really the shorts getting to a support area. Okay, so in other words, same thing as we expected the last couple days is that sell setup should follow through. Sell setups are formed by rallies. Okay, and then the rallies, okay, to short, okay? All right, let's go over the MTSI. MTSI, pretty kind of vanilla play here on the MTSI. Was a gap down initially on the daily chart here, gapping down, clearing this support here. Didn't have shock value. The only thing I didn't like about this gap, but I did like the area below. So I it wasn't necessarily for right at the open, but if I got to set up some other secondary sign of weakness, something like that was okay for me to play. And that's what we got. So that set up pretty well on the MTSI. Okay, so a little bit of sloppiness in the morning showed that I wanted to go lower, and then we played it underneath this 2-minute sell setup off of the 20 MA there. Okay, so 1629 by 1646 was the call on the MTSI. Okay, and then triggered right there. Okay, and then once it triggered, told you what the targets were. Target to pretty big target that we were looking for on 1540 as kind of the final target. But once we got to new lows here, you can see that's when I said I'm taking half right here. See, right here said go ahead and take half. We were pretty close to that 16 first target. Okay, and then got the bounce, and then we lived through this bounce, and then once we made new lows again, took another quarter, and then the last piece was trailed on the hourly, as we often do with the runner, and that ended up trailing basically break even here. It was over 27, okay, and our entry was 29, so break even on the very last piece. Ended up going up, so not a huge play, but some nice follow through. Initially was staying very weak in the afternoon. I actually was looking to do an ad there. I did call an ad, but you can see the ad didn't trigger. The ad was going to be under 1609 with a stop over this. Never triggered, ended up going higher. So I guess a little bit underwhelming as far as the follow through. Did want to see more follow through. We only got a new low a couple times, and each time only by a little bit. So 16 as a target one ended up being more accurate than I even wanted it to be. But I wanted to see us retrace through this green bar on the daily chart here. So yeah, that was really it for me. Glad that I was able to give some follow through there. If you played any of the other ideas, I think some of them really worked a lot better. For the afternoon, the AMRS, this nice 15-minute buy setup here, transitioned out of the daily weakness there, right? That was given as an idea from Sammy over lunch. And really, I thought the star of the morning was the HOME, which was also a play from Sammy there on a sell setup in the morning, and then also gave you numbers as a breakdown later on. So that was pretty good in the morning. Really nice follow through on the HOME. So I thought there were some surprising opportunities for this time of year. So hopefully tomorrow will be the same, and I'll do a better job of picking up on some really nicer movers. But overall, not too bad. And then if you took it easy today, didn't play too much or didn't take a lot of trades, I think that's completely okay. All right. So going into tomorrow, now that we have the market closed, yep, we have an hourly sell setup in place here. So expect rallies to get sold unless we take out today's high, and then we will look to see if the market wants to pick a direction, because if we take out today's high, this hourly downtrend will be broken and we will be about as trendless on the hourly as we can be with a flat 20 MA on the daily and the hourly, suggesting that we are kind of just gonna go into a sideways pattern. So we'll see what tomorrow brings us, but until then, hope you have a great evening. All right, I'll talk to you tomorrow.